Today's video is sponsored by REDTIGER. If you guys don't know what REDTIGER is, it is a dash cam company and they sent over an awesome product for me to use on one of my cars. So obviously my ES does not have any type of protection besides a car alarm, so they sent over the new F17 dash cam with the hardwire kit for me to put on the car. This is the dash cam, as well as wiring and all the other goodies that it comes with, GPS, but this thing is pretty sick.
Nice car, man.
Thank you. So this is the dash cam right here. Has a little screen, another camera so it records in the cabin, which is pretty freaking cool, and I love how sleek and small it is. I'm going to be putting it somewhere about here so it doesn't get covered, and this is an awesome dash cam. Cannot wait to put it on. So if you guys don't know, for most dash cam kits, you don't need to hardwire, but they also provided me with a hardwire kit. I'm gonna be hardwiring this all in. You can also just use your car cigarette lighter, so you don't have to use it, but I want constant power and I want this dash cam to always be on and record everything that's going on with this car. And the number one thing I cannot stress the most when it comes to dash cams when you buy them from anyone is that they don't come with an SD card. This one comes with an SD card. You don't have to go out and buy an SD card. That is amazing, because if you buy an SD card, it could be anywhere from like $15 to $60 depending on how much memory you want, but it comes with one. That is amazing. So let's hardwire this in and show you guys why you need this REDTIGER F17 dash cam. Alright guys, so the camera is installed. It is completely hardwired. Everything is on. I do this so I can see the screen. I don't really need to see the screen. There's also an app on your phone where you can check everything out. Right here we got settings, so you can access all your settings. So everything's pretty much on here. The beauty with this dash cam is that it has an internal camera as well. So it comes equipped with a 4K external camera, 1080p internal camera, and 1080p backup camera. 3 channels. You get interior, exterior, and rear, which is amazing. And honestly, this dash cam is great. It's probably the best dash cam I've ever used. I'll show you guys some footage right here of all the channels. I went to McDonald's the other night and grabbed some food. Thank you. Also, the standby mode for this dash cam is a compass, and it shows your speed and time. So you don't always have to have it on all 3 channels. This dash cam also comes equipped with 5G Wi-Fi, as well as GPS tracking on the app. It also has night vision and 24-hour monitoring. So this dash cam is amazing. Best bang for your buck. If you guys are interested in this dash cam, link is in the description below. This is one of the best dash cams, and I also have a promo code in the description as well. If you guys want to purchase, use my promo code and get 20% off your purchase. Now let's get back to today's video. Hey, what are you up to? Say hi. Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you once again for tuning in. Alright guys, got some bad news. I actually broke my bumper on the IS. Broken again. We gotta fix our custom tab. We gotta fix the little baby gap right here. Cracked a lot. Paint cracked. So we're gonna get this whole thing fixed up, resprayed one more time. And I'm pretty sure you guys can tell by the title of this video, I'm finally going to show you the Supercharger, but there is some bad news. Alright guys, here is the whole Supercharger kit in all its glory. I know, looks like a mess. I try to lay everything out for you guys. Kinda neat, but I mean, it's just a bunch of parts. So like, what can you really do, right? Let's go give you guys a quick rundown on everything and what everything does. Start off from biggest to smallest. First of all, that is the intercooler. So intercooler piping all over. That is obviously to cool down the boost. If you guys don't know, boost is actually just air. So more air means more boost. That's the intercooler, piping. Then we have the MAF pipe, which is the MAF sensor right there. We have the blow-off valve, the Big Bubba blow-off valve. So that's super sick. We have the air intake filter right here with the piping and more piping. We have the supercharger bracket. The supercharger itself actually mounts on here and it rests onto this plate, and this is the side plate that goes kind of in front of it on the other side of this. We have oil, manual, lines, the supercharger belt. If you guys did not know, it is an external belt. It's not going to put wear and tear on your actual serpentine belt. It runs on its own independent belt, which is really nice. Crank pulley, this is what attaches onto your OEM crank pulley, and you feed the belt through here and through the supercharger, and that's how it runs. Over here we have the idler and tensioner pulley, which would put tension on the supercharger belt. So it's cool that it came with that, an external one. A couple bolts here, an Innovate Motorsports ethanol gauge. So this is just to read your ethanol content, because there is a flex fuel kit with this supercharger. Cool, all that stuff was included in this kit that I bought. Over here we have the micro squirt, which controls your injectors. If you are running an IS 250, it will control your direct injector. If you are running a 350, it will control your direct and port injector, which then plugs into the junction box, which you have to wire to your ECU in the engine bay. We have the oil cooler. This cools down the supercharger oil. We have the supercharger oil canister, so this is where you'd feed the supercharger oil, which is right there, into here. This is where you could bleed it, and this is the supercharger oil filter, which all ultimately routes and lines up to the Rotrex supercharger. So we have a Rotrex supercharger that is a part of this kit, and honestly, it looks like a fucking turbo. Take out this cap, we got turbines, brother. Yeah, this is the big boy. This is a supercharger, even though it's a turbo looking one. And this is where it would attach to. The belt would go onto here. So you guys are probably wondering, what is the bad news? I have the supercharger kit. Realistically, I could install it and all that stuff, and I just wanted to show you guys. Ultimately, I am not going to be installing the supercharger any longer. I've decided against it for my own personal reasons, and I'll let you guys know everything and why I'm not going to be running it. One of the main reasons is, even though this is a complete kit, it is still missing one thing, and that is a wideband AFR boost gauge. We have this, but we still need one more gauge. That's going to be like 400 bucks. I need to get that installed, as well as this, which you guys know there's going to be labor for that. You got to make the O2 bung, and then you take it home and wire it yourself. So there's still a little bit more money that needs to be spent that I don't really want to spend. Thankfully, we do have supercharger oil. We don't have to fork over like 130 bucks to get new oil. And everything is solid for the most part. It's routed, it's ready to be installed. So if you guys didn't know, I actually got this kit from my buddy Edwin. He was the Supercharge IS I put on this channel, and he finally decided to part ways with it, and I bought it last year. I think like the end of last summer. Never got around to putting it on because, you know, it's not cheap, and I was working on fitment for this car, getting it ready. And at the end of the day, I ultimately decided, you know what, I kind of don't want to put this on because it could make my car more unreliable. With Edwin, he made it pretty reliable. He ran flex fuel and all that stuff, but he still never had a proper tune. I don't plan on shipping my car all the way to RR Racing just to get a tune, and there's not a lot of people here that can do Lexus tuning when it comes to this. This is all like RR Racing. They can be a little bit of a hassle to communicate back and forth with, maybe to get like an updated tune. You'd have to street tune it yourself, like at night or whatever, when you have free time. Just data log over and over and then send it over to them, praying that everything works out and the data makes sense. It's not like messed up and it's accurate, and they can give you a revised tune. Still costs money. And then there's also the added maintenance. Obviously, when you do aftermarket forced induction on your car, especially a motor that is not meant to be boosted, you're gonna have to watch out for a few things. Supercharger, you will have to change out the supercharger oil roughly every 50k miles, but for me, I would probably do it beforehand, maybe do it every 10k miles, and you have to keep buying that, 130 each time, change out the oil, so a little bit of a hassle. Then there's also just making sure everything is in tip-top shape, running smooth, no leaks. You will also have to replace this filter every 10k miles or less, like the whole filter. And also another thing that kind of steered me away is, yes, I do want to make my car reliable. I want to drive it. I know I have a daily that I can just drive and then let this be show car project, kind of like race car a little bit, but I love this car. I want to be able to drive it with no issues, not have to worry about this added maintenance. And also, I talked to Rafi from RR Racing. I'm in California. We only have 91 pump gas. That is the highest grade that we have. If I get gas tuned from him, not E85 or ethanol or anything, he said if I run 91, my motor will blow. So I have to run octane booster, which you can get from AutoZone for like 12, 15 bucks. But then you have to do it every single time you get gas. You have to put that in to mix it to become 93. To me, that could be a little bit of a hassle. I just want to get in my car and go. And yes, I could do flex fuel and all that stuff, E40 blend. But at the end of the day, it's just, I feel like this supercharger is going to hurt me more than it will benefit me. I can always revisit it in the future. I don't mind how slow my car is. I've always loved this car for what it is. Just a nice looking daily commuter. I just wanted these for the boost sounds because it sounds like a turbo. I didn't care for the speed. And honestly, the only reason why I bought this was because I got such a great deal. But I think I'm gonna try to sell this to someone who has the drive and is willing to go the distance to make this work for them. I know I've been hyping it up on the channel for the last 3 years, and I did want it. But I was younger at the time and had more energy, a little more expendable money, I wanna say, because I was really trying to make my car awesome. And I feel like I lost sight of why I did YouTube to begin with. I started doing it to document my build, but then, you know, it blew up just a little bit. I gained some traction, and then it kind of expedited all the mods that I was gonna do, and even things that I didn't think I would ever do. So it got to a point where I almost wasn't enjoying it and building for myself. I mean, I was, but you know, then you have to come up with video ideas and what's the next thing, what's the next thing. So this was always like a little pipe dream. I'm glad that I was able to accomplish it through YouTube and all the money I've made from sponsorships to be able to even have this kit in my hands. Everything happens for a reason. I know that I'm not going to be able to accomplish my dream and goal of having this on the car, but the fact that I got it all in hand for the most part is absolutely mind-blowing. Can't believe I did it. I mean, not a lot of people can say that they were able to buy a supercharger kit for this car and have it right here in hand, ready to go to be installed. Since I bought it from Edwin, everything didn't come all disassembled. He literally was so neat with everything. Like, look, taped everything up. Bolts are right there. We have more bolts over here. And honestly, everything is so tidy that it is ready to put back onto his car. So it's ready to be installed. You don't have to figure out where everything goes for the most part, because everything is already assembled to an extent and wired up and routed. So all you have to do is just slap it on the car, install the boost gauge and everything, and just tune it. But I don't want to deal with that, to be honest. And I was contemplating for the last 4 days. I can do it myself, I can install it, I can get everything done, leave this car on jack stands or unassembled for, you know, maybe a month and just tackle it myself. But I don't really want the supercharger on my car anymore. I know it was a dream, but dreams change. I hope you guys aren't disappointed with me. This was never for clout or the channel or anything. This was for me, and I'm just glad I was able to accomplish this goal of getting it on. I just don't want it anymore. That's just, things change. I really want to focus on the Supra. I want to grind. I want to focus on my day job, make it into a stable career, and, you know, get my own place and all that stuff. So it's kind of me adulting. Give me this 4 years ago, I would have freaking tried to put on my car, not have a daily, and take the bus wherever I needed to go because my shit was not running, you know. But I don't know, I don't have the patience for that anymore. Maybe someday, but honestly, with the Supra and the fact that it's already boosted, I think I'll be happy with the Supra when I get it running. This car, I love it the way it is. It was always just meant to be like a nice looking kind of like show car, and it's already at that point. So I don't feel the need to spend way more money than I should on this hobby passion of mine, because I already made it so much further than I ever thought I would make it. Dude, I have my IS pretty much fully built with all these things that I've gotten for such great deals, once in a lifetime opportunities. I got a sick daily that I absolutely love, and I have a project car Supra that I love to death. I just have not gotten around to it. So I feel like I have a lot on my plate outside of YouTube and then within YouTube, so I don't really need all this. We have someone who's determined to put it on his car. He's coming all the way from San Jose, and hopefully he buys it tomorrow. I'm just tidying everything up for him, and I just wanted to make a video and show you guys I accomplished my goal. I got the supercharger, but now I don't really want it anymore. And honestly, it goes to show, all the people that I've met that have installed the supercharger, they either don't have the car anymore because they sold it and got a faster car, or they just don't drive the car. So there's something about it. I don't know. I think people don't like the added maintenance on it, and it's not that big of a deal if you really think about it, but some people just don't want it. My buddy Marty, it used to be Marty Motoring, he installed the supercharger. He made the series, he dynoed it, he raced with it, he did everything that I wanted to do with the supercharger. Ultimately, he ended up selling the car and getting an ISF. No shade on the supercharger, but I asked Marty, why he went that route, because his supercharged 350 was way faster than an ISF. He told me that he didn't want to really deal with the added maintenance, and it was sometimes a little bit of a hassle. Also, the transmission was giving him issues even though he fixed it. I'm gonna keep my car, keep it reliable, and this is gonna go to a new owner. I hope they make my dream of having it on my car, my old dream, a reality, and they enjoy the hell out of it. I don't want it to be like where they install it and they get sick of it because, you know, it's not as fast as they wanted it to be, or maybe it's not as reliable, and then they sell the car. I feel like that's usually what happens, or they just don't drive the car. But I want whoever to have this kit that I finally got pieced together, ready to go, to enjoy it like how I would. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, dude, that sucks, you prepped so much for it. Like, I prepped my exhaust. I got my exhaust redone like 3 or 4 times just to get the sound ready to be paired up with the supercharger noises. I got the roll cage, which I always wanted, so it doesn't even matter. I got the air to oil separator, which is basically an oil catch can. I did so much stuff to prep for this moment. I'm not really saying that me selling this, I could really use the money. It's just, I could really use not having the supercharger on my car and all the headaches and the stress and the trauma that it'll probably bring me. This has been my secret. I've been holding on to this for like the last year, almost year and a half. I've had the supercharger, I just never wanted to put it on. And also, Edwin did such a great job, dude. So this Cobra piping is gonna sit really, really close to the headers, and he heat shielded it. He heat shielded that pipe. Like, this is all ready to be thrown on the car. It's so simple and easy, but there's a lot of things that you will have to do. You guys are probably thinking, he's not putting it on because he doesn't know how or he can't do it. I think I can do it. I laid out everything. I made a game plan, studied the instruction manual. I talked to so many people. I've been researching this for the last 3 years, guys. Come on. I know I could do it. Especially with that all laid out like this, like, it's not that bad. Maybe the wiring would be the hardest part for me because I overthink everything, but I could definitely do it. And let me show you guys exactly what you need to do. First things first, you take off the bumper, right? Once you take off the bumper, there's a spot for you to mount the intercooler. So the first thing I would do, use that bolt, mount the intercooler right there. Next thing, I would mount oil cooler onto the plastic that holds your bumper up at the bottom of right there. And then from there, you would need to also cut a huge triangle. Like, we're talking like underneath your headlight right here. You need to cut a huge triangle out of the metal so the piping can go through, and you have to delete your brake duct on the passenger side. Once you do that, you can start messing around with the piping a little bit just to get it in there. You would go under the car, mount the supercharger plate, then you shove the supercharger down into the engine bay, onto the plate. Before you bolt it, move it around, put this plate on the side of the supercharger right here, and then from there, start doing the piping, connect every little thing, try to get it all to fit right, because it's a very, very tight fit. It's gonna be super snug from what I've heard, what I've read, all that stuff. It's gonna be tough. They give you all the couplers and everything. I have it in the box. Once you get everything connected and hooked up, then you need to go in, install the crank. You remove the bolt from yours. You're gonna need a tool to remove the crank pulley. Then you can put this on, put in the bolts, then you can run the belt, and then from there you can install this. And when you install this idler and tensioner pulley, it is gonna be so close to your radiator hose. So what you have to do is flush all your coolant, take out that radiator hose underneath your car and chop it about 2 inches, push it back in, and then zip tie it to your fan, and then you'll have enough clearance from this pulley to your hose, and it's literally gonna be like about this much clearance. It's crazy. There's so much stuff that you do have to do. It's easy, but it's tedious. You have to make sure you do everything right. And then from there, you bolt everything down. Everything's good. You need to put in supercharger oil into here and prime the whole system, or else it's not gonna work and you're gonna mess something up, including the supercharger. That is probably the most crucial step. The way that you prime it is, I'm assuming you get like an air compressor and you push all of it through so it goes through and primes everything. Then from there you can start it up. You need to obviously get the tune in before you do your first startup so nothing gets messed up. And then you can have it running for about 30 minutes, just idling, no revving, no nothing. Then you can turn it off. And then the fun part, the junction box, which connects to the micro squirt. Like I said earlier, this gets all pinned into your ECU box, so that's going to be very, very fun. You have to solder too, so all of that is in the instructions. And once you're done with that, you can drive the car. First 1,000 miles, I believe, or first 100 miles. I think it's first 100 miles. Can't push it too hard. They recommend you not to go over 5,000 RPMs. See how it's reacting. Once it's like kind of broken in, you can start doing street tuning. You know, you get like a V-Pack OBD to see your knock, to do a bunch of stuff. Data log. Hopefully you have the boost gauge and the AFR wideband installed, all that. And then hopefully RR Racing will get back to you and you can show them all your new data that you compiled, and they might be able to give you a revised tune depending on if you need it or if you're okay on the base map that they give you. There's just a lot of stuff. I'm not really good with tuning, but I know that much. And here's the thing, I didn't know this. The supercharger itself, your ECU, needs a tune, but you also need a map. What is a map? It is for your fuel ratios. So this and this all work together, and you need a map for the micro squirt. So the ECU gets a tune, the micro squirt gets a fuel map. You need both. RR never gave me a real price on how much like a tune and a map could be, but it shouldn't be that bad. I just wanted to make a video for you guys. I know a lot of people have been asking, where's the supercharger? It's right here. It's always been right here. I just never had it on the car. And the supercharger is so pristine. Edwin only used it on his car for like 5,000 miles. He babied the car and it's a good kit. It really is. I've been in his car. I can't really give my full thoughts on it because he replaced his motor with the 350 motor and then supercharged it with this. So I didn't get to feel his 250 and how quick it was with the supercharger kit. But I guarantee it's way faster than a bone stock IS 350. Supposedly I heard you're up to like stock ISF levels, but just without the torque. Sorry, I'm not gonna be able to find out, but I promise someone else someday will. And I've seen other people do it. They love the supercharger, but ultimately it's just not for me, and I hope you guys understand. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys are super proud of me for working hard enough to be able to get a kit like this for my car, even though I'm not going to put it on. I think that says something. I reached one of my goals and dreams change. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm sorry that this is not going on the car, but someone else out there will enjoy it way more than I would. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. And don't forget, it's always better to look good than to feel good. Oh, later.